A poor boy helped a stranger. Years later, that stranger changed his life. My name is Ryan Carter, and this story began when I was just a boy, barely 12 years old, living in a crumbling neighborhood on the edge of town. We didn't have much. I remember our small apartment. One bedroom, peeling wallpaper, and a kitchen that smelled like burnt toast no matter how many times we cleaned it. My mom worked 2 jobs, cleaning houses during the day and waiting tables at night. My father had left when I was 7, and I never saw him again. So, most days, it was just me, my younger sister Emily, and my mom. At 12, I already understood struggle. I knew what it meant to open the fridge and find only a half-empty carton of milk. I knew how to pretend I wasn't hungry so my sister could have my share of dinner. And I knew what it meant to wear the same shoes for 3 years, even when they had holes in them. It was on one freezing winter evening, one of those nights when the cold wind cuts straight through your clothes, that everything changed. I was walking home from school. The sun had already disappeared behind the horizon, and snow crunched under my shoes. As I passed the gas station near our block, I noticed someone sitting by the side wall. He was a man, maybe in his late 30s or early 40s. His clothes were worn, his hands red from the cold, and his face looked like he hadn't slept in days. He wasn't asking for help. He wasn't begging. He was just there, silent, shivering. I didn't have much, but I had a sandwich in my backpack that I was saving for dinner. I paused. My stomach growled. I hesitated, but something about the way he looked, the way his eyes met mine for a split second, filled with tiredness and something else I couldn't name, made me walk over. I handed him the sandwich. No words were exchanged. He looked up, eyes wide with surprise, then nodded slowly, like he wasn't used to kindness anymore. I gave him my old scarf too. It had holes, sure, but it was better than nothing. I remember walking away, feeling cold but lighter. Like I'd done something that mattered. I never saw him again after that. Years passed. Life was hard. I worked odd jobs all through high school. Graduated. Took loans. Struggled. Fell. Got back up. I was 27 when I finally landed a stable job in a tech startup. It wasn't fancy, but it was something. I had an apartment, a bed of my own, and enough money to send a little home every month. But then, everything spiraled. A recession hit. The startup shut down. I lost my job, my savings, and within months, I was on the verge of being evicted. I applied everywhere. No luck. I was exhausted, emotionally, financially, spiritually. One day, I fainted in a government building while waiting in line to apply for assistance. I woke up in a hospital bed. My body was weak, but my spirit felt even weaker. I didn't know what was going to happen next. That's when a man walked into the room. He was in his early 50s now, wearing a tailored coat, carrying a warm smile. I didn't recognize him at first, until he introduced himself. It was the man I helped all those years ago, the one outside the gas station. His name was Thomas Lang. After I gave him that sandwich and scarf, he told me, something in him shifted. He had been days away from ending his life, convinced no one in the world cared anymore. But that one act of kindness, a sandwich from a 12-year-old boy, made him believe again. He checked himself into a shelter the next morning, entered a recovery program, got clean, found work, and eventually built his own business. A business that had now grown into one of the leading nonprofit tech organizations supporting youth education and rehabilitation. He told me he never forgot my face. That for years, he'd been trying to find me. And somehow, fate had brought us back together. He paid for all my hospital bills. He offered me a job. More than that, he offered me mentorship, a second chance, a new life. And I took it. Today, I'm 33. I work as a senior coordinator for his foundation. I help kids who were just like me, lost, hungry, invisible. I speak at shelters, schools, and youth events. I tell them my story. I tell them kindness matters. Because it does. A sandwich and a scarf. That's all it took. We never know how far a small act of good can go, or how deeply it can change someone. That day, I thought I was helping a stranger. But in the end, I was helping myself, years into the future, without even knowing it. And if you're still listening, if you're wondering whether kindness still exists in this world, know this, it does. And sometimes, it comes full circle in ways we never expect.